Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 18, which is entitled as Sannyasa Yoga. Sloka 14 and 15, Part 5. Adhiṣṭhānaṁ tathā kartā karaṇaṁ ca pṛthag-vidham vividhāś pṛthak ceṣṭā daivaṁ caivātra pañcamam śarīra-vāṅ-manobhir karma prārabhate naraḥ nyāyyaṁ viparītaṁ pañcaite tasya hetavaḥ. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the Supersoul. These are the 5 factors of action. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. In the last 4 sessions, we have learnt about these 5 factors in detail. And in the last session, also we confirmed that daivaṁ refers none other than Krishna himself. Then at the end, there was a question raised whether the jivatma, living entity, is independent to do functions, or is he dependent on the Paramatma to function. Let's see why this question has been raised. If we say jivatma functions independently, then the Lord loses his opulence, aishwarya, his supremacy. He can't be the controller anymore, as the individual self can function independently without any interference of the Lord. It's like I am an owner of a big company, but no employees listens to me. They function independently. And what is the use of me calling myself to be the CEO of the company? No use. So if we say that Jivatma functions independently, the Lord loses his position, one of his aishwarya, opulence. Well, what if we say the Jivatma actions are fully dependent on the Supreme Lord, Paramatma? Which means that it is Krishna who triggers the actions and make the Jivatma to perform that action that Krishna desires. That means Jivatma is not independent, he is fully dependent. In this case, the result, the outcome of any actions that's performed by the Jivatma needs to be accepted by the Lord. It all goes to the Lord, not to the Jivatma. I have been made to do some good activities. Obviously, I am going to get good karma. So that good karma goes to Krishna. In another scenario, I have been made to do bad activities, bad things, and the result is going to be bad karma. Again, that bad karma needs to go to Krishna, not to me. Because I am not responsible for any of my actions. He is the one who is situated in my heart, controls me, rules me, makes me to do certain things. I am not independent. Therefore, he is the doer who makes me do without my choice. Therefore, he has to take the responsibilities of the reactions. And also there's another problem. If we say that we are dependent on the Lord and he is the cause, he is the doer, then what is the use of Shastra? Shastras are giving lots of instructions, and those instructions is not going to be applicable to me as Jivatma, because I am not the doer anyway. It is the Lord who does it. The thief should not be blamed because he is fully dependent on the Lord for his function. The Lord is the one who makes him to steal things. We can even go to the extreme of saying, when we criticize devotees, when we fight with devotees, it is not me, because I am fully dependent on Krishna. Krishna is the one who is making me to shout at this devotee, to think bad about these devotees, because we already saw, he who is situated in my heart gives me remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness. No one should be blamed for anything that they do. We are all like toys in his hands. He does things whatever he likes with us, because I am fully dependent on him. I am not independent to make my own choices. So how do we understand? If I say I am dependent, then there is a problem. If I say independent, there is another set of problem. These terms are said as swatantriya kartā and paratantriya kartā. Swatantriya kartā means independent doer. Paratantriya kartā means a dependent doer. If I am dependent, not the doer, then what is the use of the scriptures giving instructions to me? Rather, the instruction should be given to the Supreme Lord. For example, if a person is being bound by the ropes and being dragged by another person, giving instruction to the person who has been dragged that don't go, get up, untie the rope, will be of no use, because he is not going or being dragged by his choice. He is being forced to be dragged, as he is under the control of someone else. So let's see the answer. First, let's understand, for one to get engaged into an activity and to complete that particular activity, there are 3 stages. Janati, Ichchami, Prayatate. That is, knowing stage, desiring stage and achieving stage. First, we need to know that this is an object. This is a mango. Then desire develops towards that object. An attachment comes. I want to attain this object, this mango. And the third thing is that desire get executed by an activity to achieve that mango. Therefore, I put forward an effort, physical attempt to attain that mango. With these 3, one can decide whether this is good or bad. Milk is good for health. Poison is bad for health. So these capacity of knowing, desiring and achieving has been given to Jivatma. Why? Because Paramatma already has knowledge of everything. There's nothing new that he needs to learn like us. Also, he doesn't desire for anything like us, because he is not lacking of any unfulfilled desires. All his desires are completely fulfilled. He is Sarvajña, knower of everything. He is Satyakamaha, whose all desires are complete and fulfilled. And lastly, there's nothing that he has to achieve something new, because he is complete and is satisfied. Unlike us, where when we see a particular object, either we desire to achieve that, or if we don't like it, we want to be away from that particular object. Going back to our mill example, the industry machine example, we said that the motor is Atma. The parts that's connected to the motor are the body, senses and prana. The electricity is the Paramatma. And we also mentioned that there is a major difference, one major difference in that analogy. That is, the motor is matter, not a conscious entity. Whereas the Atma is not matter, it is spirit, which is full of knowledge, consciousness. It is Chit, not Achit. meaning Jivatmas are sentient being. The motor is non-sentient entity. Jivatma is ajada, not jada. We studied about this in detail when we did chapter 13 in Sloka 3. Since the Jivatma is of knowledge, is sentient, conscious entity, it has both liking and disliking, by which he can have the knowledge, he can desire, and he can take action to achieve his desired object. This has been bestowed to the Jivatma by the Lord himself, and these Shaktis are not given to the Achit, non-sentient beings. It is only given to the Jivatma, so they can fulfill their desires. This is what is called as free will. Now let's get to Vedanta Sutra, by which we will be able to find the missing part here, whether the Jivatma is independent or dependent, and to resolve all the other sub-questions. Firstly, the Brahma Sutra, that is Vedanta Sutra, says that kartā śastrātvatvat. It is the Jivatma who is the doer. Otherwise, the Shastra will be meaningless. That is very clear, that it is the Jivatma, the living entity, is the doer. Now the question is he independent doer or dependent doer? Then we refer back again to Vedanta Sutra. It gives another sutra which says parātu tathā, meaning the Jivatma are totally and fully dependent on Paramatma. That means the Lord makes the Jivatma do an action. So first we learned it is Jivatma who is the doer, kartā śastrātvat, and then is he an independent or a dependent doer? Parātu tathā, he is a dependent doer. So going back to our initial discussion, if he is a dependent doer, then he is helpless. It is the Lord who makes him to do certain things, either bad or good. It's of Lord's choice. To answer this, there is another sutra which says krita prayatnāpekṣastu. That is, yes, the Jivatmas are dependent on the Lord. The Jivatmas are not independent, but the Lord waits on the Jivatma's initial prayatana, effort, before he makes him to do that particular action. The Lord does not whimsically make decisions on his own choice. He waits on the individual self to take the first step, prayatana, and then based on that prayatana effort, the Lord makes things happen. Let's understand more on this third sutra in our next session, and then try to connect all these three sutras to get the right answer. Namaste. Hare Krishna.